Merry Christmas. Well, it won't be Merry Christmas. It won't be Christmas Day by the time you actually see this video, but you know, just to get that sentiment out of the way. I saw this movie alone. Well, not alone. I was with my dad, but Corey is doing his own thing, and Jeremy is somewhere in Costa Mesa or Pasadena or whatever. I don't know. No, but Christmas Day comes to Christmas movies, and like the only Christmas movie that like resembles any kind of like themes related to Christmas was Secret Life of Walter Mitty, which I was really excited for since the trailer premiered. Actually, I was like, I'm familiar with the Danny Kaye version that came out. I forgot what was the exact date. It was like 1967 or something. But like, because I'm familiar with Danny Kaye's work, and he was my favorite. He's like one of my favorite comedic actors. But I was always interested in the project since it was announced like either. It was officially announced like around 2006, 2008, and it had like Owen Wilson as the lead. But apparently this movie has been in development for over 20 years. Years in like formal development, and it was just only semi recently, like last year or the year before, that Ben Stiller would be in it, and that he would be he did, like it was actually gonna get made with Ben Stiller as like the director and its star. And ever since the first trailer came out, it was just the Monsters and Men music played to just like a lot of visuals and knowing from the source material, it's like, this is gonna be a groundbreaking movie. And then like I heard all of Oscar talk after that trailer premiered, and it had like a spot in like the New York Film Festival. And after that happened, everyone was like, it was good. Mostly like the reviews have been good, but I've seen a lot of scathing reviews about it. It's just been, this movie's so stupid. It has no idea what it's talking about, or it's like the just do it kind of like commercial for like 2 hours. So what do I think of it? I want to say I kind of love. I don't really like exactly love this movie, but I like the idea, the experience I had in the movie. Just like thinking about some of like the thing, how it's executed, and some of the themes. Are also enjoying, you know, the more commercial aspects, the more obvious aspects of it. It's like, what do I have to? It's like, it's it's Ben Stiller. Well, I guess to start off with, I guess let's start with some of the positives. Like for some reason, first and foremost, the cinematography, art direction in this movie is absolutely superb throughout. Besides Ben Stiller, who directed directed and produced and starred, main attention goes to Stuart Dryburgh, who was the main cinematographer. They had a cinematographer before, but he got fired like a month into production, apparently. I can't like, but that was a good move because from top to bottom, this like every shot or every on location scene in this movie is absolutely flawless from beginning to end. There's almost always like an interesting angle or interesting composition to how the camera shows either like this people like this like meandering life through New York, or just like these great panoramic vista shots across Iceland, Greenland, and like Afghanistan. And apparently, like it seems like they did like on location shooting for all three of those, which that's why I kind of like. That's probably like my most favorite use of cinematography all year, because as much as I like Gravity in terms of like how it looks, that's obviously computers, and so like it can get a lot. It's both. It's, you know, it's what that thing is like. It's more creative, but they can make it look pretty as much as they want. Here, this is like they catch so many natural bits of beauty in the real world, and that adds the theme of like just like life is like, enjoy life, connect with us, the Meme Misfits. And besides the art, like cinematography, the art direction is consistently like it blends well. Like you get these great angles where or shot composition where Ben Stiller will like they have the quote because his character Walter Mitty, he works at Life magazine as they go through a downsizing process, and you always see this quote almost constantly is like the motto of Life magazine is like the purpose of life is to find together behind walls and etc etc etc. And you see what Bento does, like he always like he puts these messages or these texts sometimes in the background, like he is like 20th Century Fox Presents is on the side of a wall, or Secret Life of Walter Mitty. It's on these two signs like that tell a street, or there are like these waves in the pavement, and then like in a scene transition from the credits, he fills them with color and goes through this three-dimensional movement to a different scene. There's this great scene towards the end where he goes through he gets stopped at an airport through like the X-ray scanner, but like you see this entire scene in one take through the perspective of the X-ray scan. And when he starts to go off an adventure, like you see, there's this great this going consistently going horizontal or going towards shot where he goes from plane to plane, and then the lights turn off, and then goes around the world in like this sort of Model S image, and it looks fantastic throughout. It makes you that's one of the greatest joys of seeing this movie, is because it's it consistently sort of wows you with a lot of ingenious ways to transition or to feel like this movie feels alive, at least on the technical aspects. It must have been really fun to think about this movie. Ben Stiller, he's also really good in this movie in terms of both directing it, because this is not traditional Ben Stiller comedy where it's all laughs. It's mostly a pretty heavy movie, even though it's a family picture. And it goes through a lot, he balances a lot through very awkward situations of comedy to again, these big fantasy moments that range from there's this weird brief moment where they parody Benjamin Button for 2 minutes. That's probably the biggest laugh in that movie, even though I think that was the most awkwardly, sort of a really awkward moment. There's this great scene where this great big superhero anime-esque fight scene between Ben Stiller and Adam Scott, who's he's the generic bully type character, but I think Adam Scott is enough of a funny guy that he seems like he's having fun with it, and at least he makes it so obvious that you enjoy hating him, though you wish there was more to him. Well, but there's a great thing where they're fighting over this stall of Stretch Armstrong, which I didn't even know what I only know just because they're trying to make a movie out of it. But it's this great scene where it's basically a giant tug of war across New York, and they keep bouncing from car to car, and they're street surfing. They're literally surfing on slabs of concrete, and it's really cool. It's stupid, but that's kind of the point. And one of those great uses of how they illustrate that idea of how his daydreams sort of contrast with the mundaneness of real life. Another thing that's part of that's kind of one of the problems with the movie, and I think a lot of critics seem to complain this movie seems to be really confused on how to express the meaning of connecting with life or embracing life. And I can't get what they're going with, because I remember this it was a review of Transformers 3, where it's basically life is not defined by big moments, and that's why Transformers 3 is nothing but big moments. Secret Life of Mitty is kind of like that. Especially after he goes in the adventures, nothing but big moment after big moment after big moment, but they're always broken up by little conversations of people connecting with each other. Walter Mitty, before he talks to his drunken pilot and learns about his sad romantic romantic life before he has to run to him before he takes off his helicopter and then jumps into the ocean to get to a boat. But then after that he has this brief conversation about this one Greenland sailor who like just abused nothing but random American euphemisms and catchphrases. He's and like he's it's like like in terms of the script wise, like it's trying to have its cake and eat its too. It's trying to have these big moments, but it's also embracing these brief interludes of human just interactivity, and I think it works overall. But I can see like where the direction might be confused. Is like life's all about the big moments, but like it's all about enjoying the little things too. But also you can't obviously like go off on a big adventure, but also like appreciate the little things, you like the things that you see every day. It's confusing, but I think what I loved about this movie is because like it feels so sincere, and that's the idea. It's like it's a little smolchy, but like there's enough heart and dedication and sincerity to it that feels genuine and makes you feel, and it's hard not to get cynical these times. I mean, hell, this is like this is the only Christmas movie that's coming out on Christmas Day that actually has something to do with like a Christmas theme. I mean, we got 47 Ronin, which just comes out just because the Universal needed a good release date. You had a Grudge Match, basically the same thing. I'm not reviewing Grudge Match, no. Maybe 47 Ronin, but we'll see. Whenever Jeremy gets back. What else? Wolf of Wall Street. My dad keeps calling it Caligula, which it is. And other critics have called it too, but I'll see that sometime. I don't know. But, it's like, also, like, there is some good comedy in this movie. I don't forget, this is generally, it's not like the most hilarious movie, but like, they're regular, like, small laughs, but it's not because, it's not like obvious punchlines. It's all about like, it's very subtle, like sometimes slapstick, like sometimes he's so zoned out that he's just like, he walks halfway through an elevator door while it's closing on him, so he's crushed a little bbit. But it emphasizes both like sort of a sadness in the character, but it's kind of funny. Again, the dream sequences, which are like, okay, that's another problem with the movie, because like it's basically like the first act of the movie it's front loaded with those dream sequences. There's always a punchline in them. You can always tell when it is a dream sequence, when it isn't. It always ends with some kind of punchline. But it works, as some of them are actually pretty funny. It emphasizes some bit of character that makes it a character. Like there's this there's one bit there you see in the trailer where he goes in to save the three-legged dog of Christian Wiig's character, who's good in this movie, though she's not in it that much. Honestly, like all the big name actors that aren't Ben Stiller, they're basically like they're front loaded into the first act. They kind of reappear a little bit for like 5 minutes in the second act, and then about pretty much the same thing for the final act. But again, it goes from like slapstick moments to love like awkward wordplay to like these sort of weird parodies of like other movies or these like movie stereotypes, and then there's some that Ben Stiller sick, like when he's mispronouncing this mountain, like the foot is or Canuck or Nook. Is that kind of like that traditional Ben Stiller like spastic speaking, and I guess it's also soundtrack in this movie is actually really good. It's really good because it's a bunch of like, it's mostly the most famous parts of it comes from like there's like two singles from Jose Gonzalez, who I knew mostly before from doing the like that one song from Red Dead Redemption, which is really good. And they're fantastic songs here. There's a couple of songs from Junip, which are really good. And like amazingly, they have a lot of like traditional songs. Like they mentioned the Pina Colada song, which I'm not gonna sing because honestly, it's like that's a really poorly worded song, but it's really catchy for some reason. And like a lot of movies usually use that for cheap gag. Like I know like a lot of Adam Sandler movies do that. They've done that in Trek. They've probably done that in like in a bit and in some other bits of the comedy. But here they reference it and like they have like a brief moment where like Ben Stiller awkwardly sings it, but then like they never play the full song, which I'm impressed. Even though it's on the soundtrack. Even in the soundtrack, it's only like it has a lot of like covers of old '80s or popular songs, and it's again like even from the soundtrack, it takes like even like it uses it treads through a lot of old material. This movie's not anything particularly innovative, but it has a nice feel to it. Yeah, it feels like there's enough genuine effort into it, and there's some twists here and there that well, quote unquote quote twists into the narrative. It's like it's a very standard movie, but I think like you can attach to that kind of aspect about sort of trying to branch out and connect. That like to me, it's like as long as you feel like touched, then like they've succeeded in their job. So yeah, I think you should go see it. Like, it's not as wonderful as I was hoping it would be, but honestly, yeah, like I don't. It's not gonna hit more in my top 10. I'm not even sure if it makes like my top 15 in terms of honorable mentions, but it's definitely a worthy effort. I think you should see. It's like it has some really good comedy. It's absolutely gorgeous cinematography. It's honestly probably my favorite my favorite looking movie all year. I think probably even more than Pacific Rim, because this one has there are more moments in this where like I'm like pretty much the entire movie like I'm always like shocked, I'm always impressed by like a single shot or every single art direction. Action. Let's see. It's like some good comedy like throughout, sprinkled in well. It's not like it doesn't get too heavy. There's some nice philosophy moments. Well, it's not like groundbreaking philosophy, but it feels like feels genuine. That's the idea. It feels like a genuine movie that you could get behind. And some great music, good acting all around. Sean Penn, he only has like if you're going into this movie for Sean Penn, he only has like a 5-minute cameo. And that kind of it. Has a great theme. It's overall family friendly, and at least it's trying to be something pretty impactful, and I respect that. And it feels like it believes in that, and that it has some great like subtle bits of philosophy. Well, it's both subtle, but then also at times it's really blunt. And like with all the product placement, this movie has a lot of product placement. The Heat Harmony one that worked for a little bit is like if you sign up for us, you have like a best friend who will call you constantly to see if you're making your life exciting, but only if you pay $500 a year. It's like no, I'm not old enough yet. And then let's see what else. So like there's a Cinnabon product placement in that movie. I can't defend it because even the Papa John's one, which is a legitimate part of like the movie in terms of like a character development, for some reason like I've been ordering a lot of Papa John's lately for like the last month and a half or 2 months, mostly because they offer good deals. But no, it was always, secretly, subconsciously, it was always me getting pumped up for this movie. I get understand. And like all the product placement, but I don't know. I like to think they're having some fun with it. It's like how Patton Oswalt in the movie is like Cinnabon. It's like frosted heroin. It's awesome. But well, I'm rambling on more than usual in this movie for this review. But yeah, I say go see it. It's a good family movie. It's an actual movie that inspires a bit of the Christmas spirit. Go see it. And I will be well, for me at least, I might be back within the next like hour, because I need to catch up. I need to catch up on the last half hour of the Doctor Who Christmas special. So have a Merry Christmas. Well, it's 11 o'clock right now, but have a Merry Christmas from the pass to you, audience. Now, connect with the Mia Misfits. And I will be, well, at least I'm not sure if Jeremy or if anyone else it's going to come with me for more future reviews, but I'm sure you stay tuned for future reviews of Her, Inside Llewyn Davis, Wolf of Wall Street, and the other surprises that might come to me this holiday. Bye.